Hello and welcome back to the Employee Factory. Today, we are diving into an absolutely crucial, though, let's be honest, sometimes overlooked part of artificial intelligence, evaluating model performance. We're going to completely demystify this complex world of AI evaluation, look closely at metrics and benchmarks, and really equip you to deploy robust, production-ready AI agents. Think of it like testing out a brand new car. You don't just want to know if the engine turns on, right? You want to know exactly how fast it goes, its fuel efficiency, and how safely it handles terrible road conditions way before you ever take it out on the highway. So, to kick things off, let's look at a crazy scenario. What if an AI model with a 99% accuracy rate was actually a complete, utter failure? I know, it sounds impossible, right? But imagine a major bank rolls out this brand new AI model to sniff out fraudulent credit card transactions. The lab report comes back boasting the shiny 99% accuracy score. The executives are absolutely thrilled. But a week into deployment, it causes a massive disaster in the real world, literally locking out thousands of perfectly legitimate users. How on earth could a 99% score be so incredibly misleading? Well, the answer hides in a totally different metric, an 18% precision rate. Basically, what this meant for our bank was that for every 100 times the AI flagged a transaction as fraud, 82 of them were actually totally fine. Sure, the model caught the bad guys, but it also caught almost everyone else. You end up with furious customers who can't even buy their groceries or pay for gas. This is exactly why relying on a single generic accuracy number is a total recipe for disaster. To make sure you avoid that trap, here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, what is AI evaluation? Second, why does it matter? Third, who are evals actually for? Fourth, choosing the right metrics. And finally, how to evaluate AI in practice. We are leaving vibes-based testing behind and moving into a precise, data-driven framework. Let's jump right into part one. What exactly is AI evaluation? At its core, evaluating AI is a structured process for assessing how well a model actually handles its specific assigned task, which gets us way past those single misleading numbers. Think about a confusion matrix. It doesn't just tell you if a model was wrong, it breaks down exactly how it messed up. A true positive? That's a direct hit. The model yelled fraud, and it was actually fraud. A true negative is a win too. It said no fraud, and everything was perfectly fine. But those false positives, those are the super annoying false alarms. And the false negatives are the actual criminals that just walked right out the front door. A real evaluation forces us to look closely at all four of these outcomes. But the whole landscape has shifted massively lately. Back in the day, evaluating traditional machine learning was kind of like grading a multiple choice test. The outputs were nice clean categories like is this spam or not spam, and you had an absolute answer key. But today's large language models and AI agents, totally different ballgame. Their outputs are open-ended text and complex sequences of actions. There are hundreds of perfectly valid ways to write a good summary, right? We've essentially moved from grading a multiple choice test to grading a complex essay. And you can't just grade an essay with a simple answer key. You need a rubric. And honestly, you need judgment. Which brings us to part two, why AI evaluation matters. If grading this stuff has become so much harder, why do we need to invest so much time and energy into it? Well, the most crucial thing to grasp here is the difference between benchmarks and AI evals. You've probably seen those public leaderboards ranking all the shiny new models. Those are benchmarks. They use a generic test applied to every single model. But here's the massive catch. Those benchmarks have never seen your specific data, your exact prompts, or your unique users. AI evals, on the other hand, test your specific agentic system on your specific tasks. So benchmarks are fantastic for picking which model to start with, for sure, but AI evals are literally the only way to prove if that model actually works for your business. Relying purely on those lab scores is actually super dangerous. Recent research shows a roughly 33% gap between how models score perfectly in the highly controlled environment of a lab and how they actually perform or completely fall apart in real deployed work. Remember, your AI agent isn't just spitting out one answer anymore. It's often making a whole chain of decisions. If it quietly goes off the rails on step 3, you absolutely need robust evaluations to catch that before your actual users do. Moving on to part 3. Who are evals for? Honestly, anyone transitioning from building magical one-off tech demos to shipping robust production systems needs to master this. We're talking about software engineers, the data scientists training the models, AI builders optimizing them, product managers making high-stakes decisions about AI investments, and even the go-to-market teams selling these capabilities. Seriously, if your job touches an AI product in any way, you have got to abandon the guesswork and fully embrace rigorous measurement. Let's get into part 4, choosing the right metrics. We have to match the specific tool to the specific task, and let's start with classification. First up in the toolkit is precision. Precision simply asks, of all the times the model raised a red flag, how often was it actually right? Think about your email spam filter. You really want minimal false alarms there. You definitely don't want an urgent email from your boss getting tossed into the junk folder just because the system was acting overly aggressive. High precision basically means that when the model speaks, you can trust it. Then we have recall, which asks a totally different question. Of all the actual targets hiding out there in the raw data, how many did the model manage to catch? Think back to our bank fraud mystery from earlier. For a bank, missing a multi-million-dollar fraudulent transfer is catastrophic, right? They want to catch every single bad actor, even if it means generating a few annoying false alarms along the way. That scenario requires incredibly high recall. But what if you need both? What if you can't afford false alarms, but you also absolutely cannot miss anything important? That, my friends, is where the F1 score steps in. It acts as the ultimate balancer. It's a single metric that will only give you a high score if both your precision and your recall are looking solid. It completely prevents a model from just cheating the system by saying yes to everything. Now let's see how this applies to predicting exact numbers, which we call regression. Here we use MAE and RMSE. Mean absolute error, or MAE, simply tells you the average size of your mistakes. But root mean squared error, RMSE, is the heavy hitter here. By squaring the errors, it heavily penalizes massive, costly mistakes. Think of it like this. If being off by $5 on a prediction is fine, but being off by $5,000 bankrupts the whole company, RMSE is the exact metric that will scream the loudest to warn you. And for those of you out there building RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation systems, you need to measure how well your AI actually fetches information. Mean Reciprocal Rank, or MRR, checks how high up the very first truly relevant document appears. And Normalized Discounted Cumulative Gain, NDCG, ensures that the most relevant documents consistently outrank the completely irrelevant ones, because in semantic search, ranking is literally everything. Finally, part 5, how to evaluate AI. This section is all about the practical workflows and grading mechanisms that make continuous measurement possible. There are 4 main ways to grade LLM outputs. First, human evals. These are the gold standard, having an actual expert check the work, but they are incredibly slow and super expensive. Second, user evals. These give you live production signals like a thumbs up or thumbs down, but the catch is they happen after the model is already live. Third, code-based evals. These are lightning-fast programmatic checks, like just verifying if an output is in valid JSON format. But the absolute game changer is number 4, LLM-as-a-Judge. This is where you use a powerful model to grade the creative outputs of your agent based on a specific rubric. It finally allows that qualitative, essay-style grading to scale up massively. So how do we actually operationalize all of this? You set up a continuous evaluation loop. Step 1, build a golden dataset. This doesn't have to be huge, just 50 or so examples of perfect inputs and their ideal outputs. Step 2, pick your metrics by working backwards from that dataset, asking yourself exactly what makes these examples so good. Step 3, run a baseline test to get your starting score. And step 4, analyze the failures and iterate. This loop never stops. It is the AI equivalent of continuous software testing. I love this quote from AI expert Aishwarya Srinivasan. She says, "You will never know if your AI agent actually works by watching it succeed one time. You only know by measuring it on your data again and again." That hits the nail on the head. True engineering means completely replacing luck and good vibes with rigorous, continuous, automated measurement. So, I want to leave you with this final thought to consider. Are you just building magical one-off demo agents that look fantastic in a controlled lab? Or are you truly ready to use metrics, benchmarks, and continuous evaluation loops to ship robust AI out into real-world production? The tools are right there in your hands now. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer here at the Employee Factory, and we'll see you next time as we continue to decode the fascinating worlds of AI.